What's up guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Justin Davis. This YouTube channel, Drone Camps RC, has been online since 2014. We are one of the original drone channels on YouTube, so please do hit the subscribe button and click the bell for notifications of when new videos come out. New videos come out on my channel several times a week, 3 to 4 new videos every single week here with new reviews on the latest and greatest releases from all over the globe. Companies all over the world send Drone Camps RC their latest and greatest products, everyone from DJI to Eachine to iFlight to all the big names out there, Gep RC and others. So today we're gonna check out the Eachine AE65, and this video is geared toward guys who are just getting into our hobby and you're trying to find something new in your life. The next big thing, for example, FPV will change your life. If you really find that you love this, it's great. It gets you out of the house, and right now during COVID, we could all use a place to get away to and avoid people. And the nicest thing about this is you can fly it indoors away from people, or you can also go out in big fields where you have plenty of space, no other people around, and just enjoy the experience of FPV. It's amazing. Once you get into this hobby, you will really find that it saves a lot of anxiety in your life. If you are someone that's going through a transition period or you've had some issues in your life, I've talked about this before on the channel that FPV changes lives, and if it has changed your life and you're one of the subscribers on my channel, please do make a comment down below and let others know on the channel how FPV changed your life, because it changed mine. It created this channel, and we are where we are today with over 155,000 subscribers and over 30 million views on our channel, all because of something like this little guy right here. It is an awesome experience. So if you want to check out the flight footage now, we're gonna go ahead and do a flight demo of this little 1S Eachine AE65. It also comes with a charger and some other accessories that I'll show you when we get back after the flight break. Let's go ahead outside now and let's do a little flying with the AE65, and I'll show you how fun FPV can really be. Here you go. Okay guys, I'm going to ride along with you in this video. We're going to talk about the Eachine AE65 because this is a review for that particular quadcopter. It is a 1S setup like I mentioned before, but I'm also going to talk about some things about FPV in general and what you can expect as a new person getting into this. So we're going to talk about freestyle, which is doing aerobatics, and we're going to talk about sort of fun flying and stability mode. These quadcopters come with Betaflight pre-installed. It has a little USB port on the quad so that you can change the settings that you see on the screen here. These are all of what we call telemetry on the screen. On the top right is my connection to my receiver from 100 down to 0. So if you get down to 0, you're going to fail safe. And most of these quads, they're set to drop to the ground, so they don't have a flyaway, which is really nice. Now up inside this tree here, you can see that number drop to 50% up at the top right, and the number just below that one, that's my throttle value. So right now I'm at 51%, 55% throttle, and it's kind of going up and down as I move my throttle stick on the left hand side. On the right hand side, you also, just below that, you have the fly minutes from my time of takeoff, and my average flight time for the AE65 is around 3 minutes on those batteries. So they have a new type of connector on those batteries as well, a little bit better than the old ones, but don't pull on the wire. I actually pulled one of the wires off those batteries, so it's a very tight fitting connection. So hold on to the connector itself and then pull it apart, otherwise you're going to suffer a broken battery. So just below that on the fly minutes, we also have stability mode. You can see that in stability mode, all I have to do is really push the stick forward because it levels out itself. And when we're doing tree canopy flying like this, it's kind of fun to be in stability mode because it lets me slow way down without having to worry about having no stability for leveling out the quad. And this is really, really a cool feature of Betaflight for the new guys in particular. And in the middle of the screen, you can see my quad name AE65. And on the left-hand side of the screen, we see 3.1 volt, and down at the very bottom, you see the same thing. That would be your average cell voltage, but we only have one cell, 1S, so to speak, in this terminology.
A 2-cell battery will be a 2S, and so on, 3S, 4S, 5S, 6S. Then we have our amps drawn, and I got up to about 8 to 9 amps right there, but this ESC is, I believe it was around a 5 amp ESC in here. And this is a 4-in-1 ESC. It's an AIO flight controller. It is the Crazy Bee X flight controller that's on here. And then we have the amount of milliamps used, which is 58, 59, 60. You can see that number going up and increasing. And then you'll know how many milliamps you're going to put back into your pack after you've flown it. But this quad is quite maneuverable, and it didn't freak out the flight controller as much as I thought it would. In some of the really extreme dives, I had a sort of a turn to the side. You can see it kind of jerk toward the side. That's what we call a flight controller freak out, when we can trip up the gyro and make it just kind of tumble a little bit. And that happens on this style of whoop. They can't do the big air maneuvers like your 3-inch quads and your 4-inch and your 5-inch race quads can, mainly because they have prop guards and ducts around, which will create some instability for the flight controller. But it's really fun if you're just getting into FPV to fly this quad in stability mode and just enjoy the overall feeling of being inside the goggles in the pilot's perspective. And that's what FPV is all about. It's a really great experience, and what I get mostly from it is that sort of that I'm mindful about what I'm doing currently, and I'm not thinking about other things. So it really is a type of stress reliever for you. And a lot of people feel that when they fly, they forget about all their problems. It's really nice. And if I get to fly at least once, twice a day, 2 or 3 packs, I feel pretty good for the rest of the day. And I can go on about my business and finish up my day. So this quad, you can see it does a lot of things. It can go in really tight spaces. It can fly indoors, outdoors. It can do pretty good aerobatics, power loops. It can do flips and rolls. And you can really get creative with your freestyle maneuvers with this quad. But what's fun mostly about it is just straight ahead flying and just enjoying the low to the ground type of flying. I always say there's more interesting things lower to the ground than flying super high up. And there really is. There really is a lot of it. The camera even looks better down low because you can really see more detail. And this is an analog camera, guys, so it's not the best, but it will do for the price at $100. And I had a ton of fun with it. Let's go back in now and take a look at what's included with the AE65.
Alright guys, welcome back from the flight test. So what did you think about the AE65? Pretty fun to be in the pilot's perspective and doing all these crazy aerobatics. And some of my most favorite flying is actually slowing down and flying through the tree canopy. That's a lot of fun to me, and you can do that in stability mode. This quad should come set up and ready to go in stability mode for the beginner guys. That means that when you push on the stick and let go, it'll go back to level, and that's what a lot of you guys are looking for with a beginner style quad. Now, the other greatest thing about this quad, before I put it on the bench here and show it to you close up, I want to let you know that if you break this quad, everything on here is plug and play, meaning that you can just unplug something and plug something back in. So that's including all 4 motors, the camera, and the flight controller board here. So if you blow out your flight controller board, unplug everything including the camera, put a new flight board on there, plug your motors back in, and you're ready to go. It also comes with a new style battery connector on here, which is the ET 2.0. That's new from Eachine, and that's upgraded the power response as in comparison to the old style plug, which is the PH 2.0. It just gives a better power to the battery and the motors and the ESC. So it lets you have a better, higher voltage, and you can fly HV batteries on this quad, or you can fly LiPo. So either way, these ESCs can handle HV or standard LiPo. But let's go ahead and put this on the bench. Let me show you a little closer look at the AE65 and some radio alternatives for you guys
as well as what's included in the box for the AE65. So this is the whole kit right here, with the exception of a few batteries. It does come with, I think it came with 4 batteries in the box, but since I've flown mine, they're somewhere in my box of batteries. But this is the 1S 250 milliamp battery that comes along with these, and I'll try to put a couple different options down below for these, because some of these are not my favorite. If you fly them a little bit too low, they will start to swell up, and if a LiPo battery starts to swell up a lot on you, you want to get rid of it, because it could start a fire in your house. You want to be very careful with that. But this is a 1S 250 milliamp battery, and it does say HV on there, so this is an HV version, and it does have that ET 2.0 connector on there that's new from Eachine, and they claim that it allows a better voltage, less sag. So, and when I was flying it, there was definitely less sag in the battery, which is really great. So a little bit better connector than the PH 2.0. Now also in the box you get a wall adapter that can plug into any US style outlet. This is a great charger, and I've talked about this one before on the channel, because the Eachine 6-in-1 charger is now been updated. This is the 2.0 version with the new ET 2.0 connectors on there, and the old school PH 2.0 connectors. So charge either style. If you have the old ones, you can still charge up to 6 of the old ones on there. Now I don't know if you can charge 2 on the same terminal at once, but I would not really advise it. It also has, on each terminal, it has a selection for 4.20 there, and for it has 3.5, it has 4.35, which is going to be HV batteries. So up is going to charge your HV batteries. That'll charge all the way up to 4.35 volt. You want to be very careful. You can see on this battery that it says 4, but you can't see a point. That means 4.35 volt. That's going to be your top charge once you plug this in, and it goes to a full battery charge. So your old school LiPo needs to be charged at the lower setting, and you'll switch this switch right here on each terminal down to the bottom. That will charge it up to 4.2 volts. If you charge a standard LiPo at an HV rate, it could blow up or explode your battery, and be very careful with that. That includes any type of LiPo battery, but there are 2 types of LiPo battery, HV and standard. So up at the very top, I can do a quick charge or I can do a slow charge, and the first charge rate is 2 amp, 0.2 amp actually, all the way over to the left, and you can go a little faster by charging it up to around, I believe it looks like 5 amp, 0.5 amp there, and I can switch it over and charge it a little faster. Now when this battery is all done, it should go solid green. When it's in the charge process and charging, you'll see it flashing just like this one, and this little LED right here will go around and round and tell you each terminal and the current voltage. So this one hasn't been totally charged yet, but these connectors are also really tight, so you want to hold onto the connector itself and pull it in and out of the charger and the quad's battery terminal. Do not pull on the wires, because I've done that with these batteries, and they're extremely easy to break off the battery, and that'll pretty much kill your battery, so be very careful there. Now if you want a field charge, you can use up to a 4S 1300 or larger milliamp on there, but 4S battery works just fine on that, so you can do field charging. And you have a USB output at 2 amp, which is also nice, so I can charge my iPhone or Android tablet either way. But these are a little bit hard to get out, and I keep flexing this frame right here. It's a little bit loose, but be very careful that you only pull on the tab here for the battery. Now also in the box you do get 4 extra props, which is also great. I believe these are around 1900 or around 1920 style props, but I'll try to put a link down below for these. These are little tri-blade props. They just push on. There's no bolts on these, and it has a 1mm shaft on this particular quad. So if you're looking to buy the batteries for this quad, that's what you want. You also get a screwdriver in the box. You get a prop remover tool. You get the Cadex Ant OSD menu control board. So if you didn't like the way that the video looked in my settings, you can actually go in there and change it to different lightness and darkness and presets, which is really neat. You can also add OSD on there as well with the Ant. But in the back here you can see that it says Ant. Now this nice polycarbonate frame here with this newly thicker reinforced canopy mount for the camera. And this is great. 2 bolts hold the camera in on each side. You can see the receiver wire coming out there at the top, and video wire. And just beneath the prop guard here, we have Eachine NX0802 motors, 22,000 kV, 3 bolts on the bottom, all plug and play here for the motor wires, and the camera plugs in on the side of the flight controller right here. So cool that everything is plug and play. So if you break anything on here, it can all be replaced without having to use a soldering iron, which is great. And again, guys, there are several different options for buying this quad up. It does have this built-in receiver on here, and it is an FR Sky. It is up in the front right here. On this side right here, you'll see it right next to the R1 button. You hold that down with a bamboo skewer. That's what I usually use on the bench so that I don't fry things. You're going to plug in the battery first. Once the battery's plugged in and your radio is beeping to bind up, you press and hold this button for about 2 seconds with a bamboo skewer just like this, and you'll see it change colors, and you should have a connection to your radio. And you can check your sticks inside Betaflight to see if you made that connection from the USB port here. You might also have to plug in a battery to see your radio channels moving inside the receiver and the radio tab inside Betaflight. Now also in the box you do get some instructions on here on how to bind it up with a Tyrannus radio, so it'll show you how to go into the menus and select it in the model menu. It also shows you on this map where things are on the flight controller, so if you're looking for that boot button or you're looking for the bind button, either way you go, it has everything right here labeled for you. And how to hook it up to Betaflight, you're supposed to type in bind RX SPI, and the way it worked for me was actually not that command line, it was actually bind RX, and then you can restart the quad and use your bamboo skewer to push down the pin and bind it up to your radio. And the radio, again, that is my favorite right now is the Radio Master TX16S, and the cheaper budget option would be the Eachine Light radio. So you can bind up any type of FR Sky receivers to this radio, and it works great. And for my top choice for goggles this year is likely going to be this brand new Skyzone 04X goggles. These are amazing. They are brand new. They just came out. They do have 2 different faceplates included as well. If you're looking for premium goggles that you can record DVR to, it comes with a module already ready for 5.8, and it has an extra port over here if you wanted to do quadversity, meaning having 4 antennas running off here. So pretty much all the bells and whistles with the 04X. This is going to be a great review on the channel coming up, so make sure you guys do subscribe and stay tuned for this review. But that's the tops premium. If you want to go premium, get these 2. If you're on a budget, I'll try to put a link down below for some budget goggles and the Eachine Light radio. If you want to move up from something like the AE65 and you're ready to go bigger, my next suggestion might be something like the Ready to Fly TYRO 79S. This is quite a much bigger quad, so you're going to have a big open field with no people around to fly this one. This one you can kind of get away with flying around people because it's very quiet and it's really not going to injure anybody. But the 3-inch and above, make sure you fly around well away from people. But the TYRO 79S comes in a ready-to-fly format. You can also get some budget goggles to go along with this one, and this one's around $160, I believe. I'll try to put the link down below for this one. But this one, again, would be a great setup for anybody moving up to the next level from flying smaller ones indoors and outdoors. But this has been my review of the AE65. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and if you're new, please do subscribe, and I hope you learned something today on this channel. Guys, take care. I'm Justin Davis, and I'll see you on the next one.